SMT Nation, we back. Nation, Verizon's given us some updates. They're running some demonstrations, and we kind of understand now a little bit better after, looking at some of these disclosures and comments from the leaders at Verizon, what they're going to be doing with fixed wireless access, 5G home internet, where they're going to be targeting, and how they're going to make this meaningful. Pretty incredible technology involved. Let me tell you guys all about it. Link for the article from Fierce Network will be provided. It's down in the description. Ways to support us can be found there as well. Please do like and share this video. Subscribe if it's your first time here, and turn on the bell notifications icon to never miss an upload from the SMT. All right, folks. So the basic premise of what's going on here is how Verizon approaches 5G home internet. Verizon is all about monetization. They want to sell their network to as many people as possible. And they're actually kind of targeting a new segment. I call it new only because it hasn't really taken off for them. But now they've got some technological advances and strategies for reaching new customers. What they're targeting is known as the MDU, the multi-dwelling unit. I want you guys to think about, the high-rise apartments, large condos, anything where you have like dozens and dozens and hundreds of units in which folks live in, smaller, quarters or whatever. And, you can serve lots of people because you have a lot of customers available within those settings. Now, Verizon wants to target this because it puts you at play to be facing a lot of customers you may already have for wireless. So it's going to be a point of emphasis for Verizon to try to create and increase this revenue stream, fixed wireless access, 5G home internet. And what Verizon is going to do is they're going to build DAS systems, indoor, outdoor. They are going to build mmWave nodes, rooftop, on poles. They're going to be focusing on targeting these areas. So we're talking about mmWave playing a new role, very specifically, because C-band just simply isn't enough. They want to keep their C-band as an important piece of their mobile network, obviously. But when you're targeting home broadband, the mid-band spectrum, there's just not enough bandwidth. But they have hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of megahertz of bandwidth in the mmWave. So what they could do is they can target using the different vendors. I saw in the article, Solid, CommScope, Corning, JMA Wireless, ADRF, all providing these different radios and antennas. And we're talking about stuff that, was being demoed and showing some really good promise and how it could deliver the fixed wireless access. So with hundreds of customers potentially, having the service available to them with radios and antennas facing them, connecting to where they live, Verizon's looking at discrete rooftops and all these different solutions where they can connect 15 to 20 families, right? That's a pretty nice potential. If you think about penetration rate, like Verizon Fios, for example, Verizon operates between a 35 to 40% penetration rate. If they can get that type of penetration rate as an MDU, the cost synergies there, the cost efficiencies of deploying wireless radios is actually even better, more cost effective. So they really like this. We don't see AT&T exploring this. We don't really see T-Mobile doing this either. This does appear to be a unique Verizon solution and approach to getting these new customers, because investors are always going to ask, what's the next monetization path? What's the new revenue stream? This is what Verizon's going to do. They're going to spend some money to really focus on getting some new customers. And Verizon has been adding customers in home broadband, but they know that the potential of upside with mmWave is much higher. The performance is much greater. They can generate thousands of megabits per second in downlink, hundreds of megabits per second in uplink, and they would like to monetize that. And they have the brand, they have the recognition. I think they have the rapport with customers for reliability, and we've seen the growth in mmWave, in terms of building it over the last few years. I think they're going to continue to do it. They're also bolstering their mmWave holdings, where they have a ton of spectrum. So that they've got the relationships with the vendors. They've got the technology, I would say, push and investment, time, and money and research, R&D. I think this is going to be something really important to watch from them. And, think about your bigger cities, think about your urban core. The clientele is there to serve. The one thing I have concerns about is how competitive Verizon goes in and is the pricing. Do they come in and try to just, charge a premium for the service? I don't know if they can do that. They're going to probably have to come in slightly less expensive compared to the wireline options and a lot of these MDUs. Think about the MDUs that are selling fiber, right? The companies that are incumbent. I think it's going to be Spectrum. I think it's Comcast. Those are more your front facing for customers, the brands. Verizon's going to probably have to beat them in pricing. But the nice thing is a lot of times, and AT&T Fiber too, we'll throw them in there. A lot of times, they have exclusives, where it's only one brand. They've signed deals with the owners of the buildings. Verizon won't need permission from the owners of the buildings to sell this service. They'll have solutions, that are going to make it available. The CPEs will be, positioned at windows and who knows what other solutions they'll have. It's probably going to be less intrusive. I think Verizon has a workaround for that, right? And if they can garner a 40% take rate, penetration rate, I think they can live with that. They'll be very happy with the outcome. I mean, you could run the numbers, right? If you've got, 10, 15 floors, 20 floors in a living space, and you've got, 50 units on each floor or something, it's a large building, it's worth it to explore this option. I don't see anybody else doing it. It does seem to be a Verizon thing. We'll see what this looks like probably in the next year or so. It's become a point of emphasis from investors and at conferences. And with the demonstrations showing how it's working, this is probably pretty close to being something we can identify. And this is not going to harm the mobile network. Verizon is targeting this for fixed wireless. Your Verizon experience for mobility will continue to be fantastic. Whether you're at concert venues or you're at, convention centers, they will continue to build the capacity in these places. It's a pretty interesting development. I'll ask you guys, what do you think about the Verizon approach here? Do you like it? Do you think this is going to pan out for them? I think the measure of success here is going to be the take rate, right? How many customers sign up and how much of a revenue stream this can be warranted and substantiated from Verizon. Your thoughts and opinions welcome down below. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.